Thank y'all for coming back. We got another episode of Hughes Weekly. And believe it or not, this is not going to be a D's Daily, even though that was fun to do. But it is a Hughes Weekly because we have Hugh on the other end.
Yeah, how's everybody living?
Say it again. I don't think they heard you.
Hey, how's
They're
everybody
fine.
living?
They're fine.
They're fine.
So Hugh, with this weekly thing, obviously, this is your second time this week, so it is kind of a daily thing. But I like the ring of Hughes weekly, so we'll just stick with that. But yeah, we've just been talking about things coming up towards the trade deadline with players moving or potentially moving because it hasn't been a whole lot yet. Still a lot of talk going around the league, but we're getting closer to that day. We're about 2 days away from the Thursday deadline, and there's still some players that will most likely be moved, and then followed after the deadline, some players that probably be bought out soon after. So yeah, give us like a little bit update as far as what's happening around the league.
Yeah, so speaking on what you just touched on, some the newest rumors and whatnot in the trade buyout market or whatever. Um, so I know we've touched on Kyle Lowry and Norman Powell being traded. I heard that the two top candidates for those guys are the Sixers and the Heat. If they were dealt in a package or whatever, it said that the Sixers and Heat were more interested in Lowry, but that's something to keep an eye on. With the
We did
Warriors,
touch on that just a little bit the other day as well, and I have something I want to add to that. With
yeah,
the Sixers trade for Kyle Lowry is that the Sixers, if they do that trade, I think it's been mentioned that they're looking at trading the rookie Tyrese Maxey to get Kyle Lowry. So, yeah, I guess they have a young asset that they're definitely willing to throw at the Raptors. So that'll definitely be something that the Raptors would consider, and probably it's what making the Sixers on top of the list. Shout out to Philly.
yeah. I mean, that's actually smart for them. I think they're in a win now mode. They're in Philly, and I think they're looking to have great expectations for this year. So I like that. I like that trade. Lowry would definitely help. Definitely help them out. Uh, another guy, Victor Oladipo. I know we've talked about him. I think last time we discussed him, we were talking about the Warriors. We're interested in him. We talked about the high price with Wiseman and the first round pick. So it sounds like the Warriors are out of that now. But I'm hearing two teams that are interested in him are the Miami Heat and the New York Knicks. Now, what I heard with both of them, that they're both interested in him and they are in talks with the Rockets about him, but that both of them are hesitant on giving Houston a lot based on Oladipo's injury history. So that's something to keep an eye on too. I think he's definitely going to be out of Houston, but I just think I don't think Houston's going to get what they're asking, what they want.
Also from Miami, they know that there's been talks of him wanting to go to Miami. So they're trying to, size up that trade as far as pulling the trigger because they don't want to give the Rockets something when they could virtually, get them in the off season for free because they do have the cap space. So I did see that. So it'll be interesting if the Rockets do make that trade with Miami Heat, but they might have to scale back a little bit. But the Knicks, yeah, they should go for it. Like I said, they're a big market, but they're having a hard time getting some of these named athletes over there to New York Knicks in the off season. So maybe the best way to do it is via trade.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. A new one here. I had not heard this rumor until I started looking up rumors, but the Indiana Pacers are listening to calls about my boy Malcolm Brogdon. Shout out UVA. Um,
I saw that. I saw that.
I read that the Pacers are interested in well, not I wouldn't say interested in trading him, but listening to calls about trading him because they see Karis LeVert as that he can be their point guard now that he's back. So they said he could just take over that role for Brogdon. The only team that I saw specifically that was being discussed with this Brogdon trade was the LA Clippers. And
Really?
I
Because
to be honest, I love that fit, to be honest.
what I saw in the news a little bit ago when I was looking it up was Philly. I saw Philly that
Really?
they were interested in Brogdon. I mean, obviously they're
Uh,
trying to add a little bit more talent and depth to the team. I guess maybe that's a fallback option if they don't do the trade for Kyle Lowry. I don't know which
Yeah,
one's a priority, but yeah, they were looking at it. I mean, Philly and Miami, they sound like they're aggressive with their talks,
yeah,
and the Celtics are probably sneaking in there somewhere, but just kind of more low key, I guess, as far as new news. But yeah, just look out for them too. But yeah, Philly, man, they're aggressive. I didn't know that about the Clippers. You like that
yeah.
fit?
I didn't see nothing about the Sixers, but yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, if the Lowry thing don't work out, it sounds like they're at going to get 1 point guard. They probably don't know who yet, but it's looking that way. Then the other two guys I wanted to touch on uh, were two of the big guys that we've been talking about. That a buyout's looking like it's going to happen. I know the teams were hoping for trades, but that don't seem to happen. But first guy is Drummond. I'm just seeing that he's getting a lot of interest from the Celtics, Knicks, Mavs, and Bulls. Um, I think teams we've talked about a lot already. And then Aldridge is getting a lot of interest from the Celtics and the Heat, which I think we've said some of that before. But yeah, just coming days, not much time left. So those are the teams I think they have narrowed down. But I mean, if they buy out, then it's the player's choice and where he wants to go. So I guess we just have to, maybe the feeling's mutual for one of those teams, and money's good enough where they feel like they could go there, make an impact, make some money.
I mean, definitely the Celtics are on the clock because they're the
Oh
ones
yeah,
that need to do the trade before he gets snatched up by another team, either through trade or waiting to play their hand at the buyout market, where uh, where the player might choose the team of their choice, and it might not be the Boston Celtics. So they're definitely on the clock. They definitely need to make a move, and we're going to see them do something before the trade deadline. Another name I wanted to throw out there, I don't know if you saw this, but I saw it. DeMar DeRozan, because of LaMarcus Aldridge, that the Spurs also are saying that he is on the market, so he's not untouchable. And I think he's in the last year of his contract, so that's probably a go figure type of situation, because it's like, let's see if we can trade him and get some value back, because I guess he might not stay. They're looking like they're going younger with their setup and their lineup, so I can't blame them for wanting to shop him around, but it's just not a lot of news circulating around that. I don't know if it's because of his contract. People don't want to pay that amount of money. I did also see where, as of right now, they don't have an interest in buying him out. So a little bit different than LaMarcus Aldridge's situation, as far as if he's not traded, then he's going to be bought out for sure. So yeah, just keep an eye on Demar. I don't know. Maybe somebody would want to pick him up. They feel like they could afford to take the risk and sign him. But like I said, it's another situation where he'll be a free agent in the off season. So be careful who picks him up. But I did see that the Knicks were kind of eyeballing that situation a little bit too. So yeah, the Knicks definitely need to make moves along with the Celtics. The Knicks, just for the purpose of needing to add players to your roster to brand your team a little bit better in that type of market. And then the Celtics, you just need to add something to make your team better heading into the end stretch of the regular season and preparing for the playoffs. Last words. Any more updates? What's going on with that game between Philly and what you're wearing?
Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Warriors were actually down 24, and they came back and were winning. Now they're not going to win, unfortunately. There's 42 seconds left currently, and Philly has 107, and the Warriors have 98. So it doesn't look like they're going to win. Amazing comeback though, hell of a comeback, down 24 without Curry. And coming back. Shout out the Warriors. I'm impressed they even did that. But yeah, speaking of Curry, a couple injury news. Curry, they were thought he might be able to come back today, but they said he's had some inflammation, so they expect him out another week. Said hopefully in a week. I think he said three more games he'd miss, I believe, is what they're hoping. And then LaMelo, I know he fractured his wrist and all that. He's expected to be out the rest of the year, but I did see that he's being reevaluated in 4 weeks, about a month. So I mean, maybe he can come back. Maybe if they're still in playoff contention, he can come back towards the end there. And then something else I wanted to touch on, a move in the standings. The Lakers lost tonight without LeBron and AD. They fell to the Pelicans, and with that move, I guess the Clippers held the tiebreaker, so they moved into third in the West, and the Lakers dropped to fourth after tonight's loss.
Okay, they're trying to hang in there and stay in whatever position they can, but it's so tight in the West that they're bound to lose some more games with those two guys being out. So they could stay in the top 8 and not have to really do a whole lot to possibly make it in a play-in situation, or just sustain enough to where if LeBron makes it back before the end of the regular season, that maybe they can move back up into the middle of the pack as far as standings wise. But yeah,
Yeah.
another player that I did see, because you and I had talked about Jason Tatum, is that he was out last game because of sickness. Hopefully, that's not something related to the COVID situation that he had back in what was it, January.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I think his lungs had been, he still was dealing with some side effects of COVID with his breathing when he returned. So hopefully this is just something minor and not something major, but we'll see. And then also a shout out, rest in peace to Curry's tailbone. Yeah, get well soon.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.